What is shaking, everybody? Welcome back to Casual Conversation with Will and Gary. I don't know why you guys keep coming back, but some of you do. So we're just going to keep putting out episodes until you guys stop listening, I guess. Anyway, me and Gary got a good show for you this week. It's just me and Gary back on the podcast this time. We do talk about quite a few things, though. We talk about motivation and how you can focus your attention on different things in your life. We also talk about the government starting back up, and we talk about how to keep an open mind and what that does for you when having conversations and discussions with people. We talk about music making and electronic music and how it relates to people playing music and things of that nature. And we finish it off with some funny news stories that we saw on the internet and we thought we would share with you guys. So as always, though, thank you guys for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Leave us some feedback. Let us know what we are doing well and what we can improve on. And as always, I hope you guys enjoy the show. Welcome to the greatest podcast on the face of the earth. And welcome, my friends, to episode number 15.
15
of Casual Conversation with Will and Gary.
Gary.
Coming at you back, well, not back to back, but closer than usual.
Yeah, I mean, we did one,
Tuesday?
3 days ago?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
We're just freaking cranking them out now.
That's what we do.
This is not our new schedule, though, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
We like to keep it once a week and keep the people, like, begging
dying
for more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just asking for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the response that I get. At least that's what I think. Anyways.
Yeah, I know. Dude, like, I'll see people, like, when I go to town or go to the store or something, they'll be like, "Oh, you're Will from Casual Conversation with Will and Gary." And I'm like, "Yeah."
That's crazy. That happens to me, too.
I know.
And I'm in Conway. That's
I know.
70,000-ish people.
I know. And then they ask, "When's the new episode coming out?" I said,
Whoa.
You got to chill.
We only have one. Only a week.
Only one a week. I mean, I know you guys want some more, but you got to relax.
It's difficult being a celebrity. No, but speaking of big news, not us. Apparently Trump just announced the government has just like made an agreement and that the federal government's going to reopen.
It's going to reopen. When did they say this?
It was so it was like breaking news on
like today.
YouTube, yeah, and it was like 1 hour ago. So
1 hour ago.
They posted that video 1 hour ago, so I'm sure it's like a couple hours ago that it happened.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. He heard,
Yeah.
dude, you know what it was?
What?
He heard us on the podcast, and he knew that they had to do something.
You're right. Hey, it's tough being a celebrity, but being a celebrity, you have a platform, and so like we used our platform to open the government back up, basically. We used our influence, if you will.
Yeah, because our influence is, I mean, completely massive at this point. We're 15 episodes in, but we're probably the most popular podcast on the face of the earth. Am I right?
Man, you're stroking our ego.
It's a joke, Gary.
Oh man. So yeah, what do you think about the like? I don't think it's official. Like Trump just said that like he's thinking that they've reached an agreement.
Oh well, what was the agreement?
That like whoever was opposing his ideas, they were gonna conform.
Basically. Okay. Well, did he have to conform his ideas any as well?
I don't know. He basically was just saying like how great the American people were and how patient they were and how and all this time they didn't criticize, which I mean people were totally criticizing.
Yeah, they totally criticized. But well, I'm glad they reached a resolution. How long did it take them? Like,
I think it's 31 days.
31 days. Just a short month.
Either that or
it's no big deal.
Days. It was in the 30s, I'm pretty sure.
It was in the 30s?
Yeah. That's, I don't know. That's wild to me. That
yeah, crazy,
a whole month of time, like if you're a federal employee, you didn't get paid.
That's wild. I wonder.
Dude, if I didn't get paid for a month, I'd be toast.
I don't even have a reserve tank that would last me a month. I
I would be burnt toast on fire.
It's like the toast you leave. Burnt toast. Dude, Courtney was fixing a quesadilla the other night. And she had this, instead of the stove on low, it was on high. And she put the quesadilla on. And it was on there for like a minute at the most. Just the tortilla with the meat and cheese on it.
Yeah.
And she dropped a piece of cheese on the burner. And I mean, this overwhelming smell just like came over me like a burnt something.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, there's no way that one single piece of cheese is smelling that bad. And dude, she flipped the tortilla over, and it was the crispiest, blackest tortilla I've ever seen, dude.
Man, you better be glad that Courtney doesn't listen to the podcast, because you're putting her cooking skills on blast right now.
But yeah, that's the kind of burn I would be if I didn't get paid for a month.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah. Anyway,
but how was your week overall? Well, I just want to start out and say that potentially the government's back up and running.
Yeah, and we applaud. Dude, I really haven't done anything. It's been 3 days since we last convened together, met together. So
you're right. Still
dude,
recovering from that Metallica concert.
No, dude, I'm fresh now. Get like a couple days after that, my ears were ringing, head was hurting. But now I'm ready to rock and roll. I'll go to another one. No, I won't go to another one.
Not for as much money as we spent to go to that one.
Yeah, no kidding. Didn't even play an encore. I'm still salty about that.
Yeah. I feel like that was definitely included in the fee that we paid.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
We deserved an encore.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure Metallica's listening to this, so the next time, they come to Little Rock, I'm sure they'll have an encore. So.
Yeah. That's what a platform does.
But no, my week was pretty boring, man. I haven't done anything. I had to go back to work. Sad time.
Dude,
I observed Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is
yeah.
always good to reflect on.
It's always
a
nice
great
to have
man.
Dreams.
Yep.
Carry out those dreams.
Yep. That's true. But other than that, no, I didn't do anything, to be completely honest.
Yep. I didn't really do anything either, but I was super productive. Like, man.
So you're productive, but you didn't do anything.
Yeah, basically. Dude, I just sat around the house and read and stretched and worked out and played guitar.
Worked out,
and
baby.
Ate and cooked. And just I don't know, cleaned my house a little bit too.
That's always fun.
Like,
I love cleaning the house.
I didn't leave, besides podcasting on Tuesday and going to the grocery store, I didn't leave my house for 3 days.
Whoa. So you really reclused it.
Yeah, dude.
Like Brown reclused it.
Yeah. But my body feels great. Like, I've been putting so much focus into just taking care of my body.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of stretching. I feel loosey goosey, man.
Loosey goosey,
but I've
baby.
been Marcus came over last night and we freaking we destroyed our bodies.
Flung some weight around?
Yeah, dude. We flung some metal around.
Clanking plates.
Yeah. It was nice.
It was nice.
I don't know. I've really been, it's I'm sure you've heard of the mind-body connection.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's man, it's a real thing. It's I've been focusing on over the past 4.5 years of college, sharpening my mind.
Yeah.
And objectively, I know that taking care of your body is good. But it's when you start taking care of your body, it clears up your mind, and you see you can know all these models, these theories or whatever to improve your body and your mind and your overall well-being, but until you actually do it, you don't realize that the mind and the body is just one thing.
Yeah. That's kind of true with not just lifting weights, but exercise in general for me personally. If I go to the gym, get a good lift in, run after that, get some cardio, get my heart rate going. When you get, back home and you rest, it's just it's just more relaxing, I guess, is the way.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if it's because your body was like under stress or a high amount of stress at the time, and then once you relax, it's like ultra relaxed, or I
Yeah.
don't know if that's actually a thing, but
Well, yeah, it's like tension in your body. So this is a good way to think of the mind body connection. Like any tension that is in your body, you're unconscious of that tension. But once you become conscious and aware of that tension, you can release it. So like becoming aware with your mind of your body in and of itself, like making that mind body connection, like you won't be as stressed, you won't be as tense if you can get in your body, as opposed to being in your head all the time and thinking about things you have to do, thinking about your phone and who's texting you or how many likes you're getting on your social media. Like get into your body sometimes and out of your head.
yeah, that's true. Because there's a bunch of
All tension is unconscious.
And nowadays there's so many things vying for attention that you can have a big cluster in your brain of so many things going on at one time. I don't know. I feel like lifting weights and exercising just kind of like evaporates that for the time being, which is relaxing.
Yeah.
So actually you're not, it's kind of weird. You're not relaxing because you're like pushing your body to the limits, but then in return you are relaxing more. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, man.
More on that to come. I've got a rant a little bit later about attention and the
you gotta pay attention,
theory,
kids. You gotta pay
the theory
attention.
of that, but that's to come. No, so I'm actually tomorrow going to help a buddy out that is helping put on this like art show to raise money for a mission trip.
Mm-hmm.
They go down to Guatemala, and I mean they've helped like build churches. They've helped like go down and just supply people with basic stuff like toothbrush, deodorant, body wash, like
The essential toiletries.
Yeah, like hygienic stuff. But what he's having me do is go to the art show. Like I'll be serving wine and helping promote the art for them, like to be sold and for them to make money.
Oh, so you're like a hype man kind of.
Yeah, dude. And so
like,
I did it last year.
Here's a nice. Would you like a nice red wine? And then go check out this piece over here. It seems like it would fit your style.
Yeah.
Or no, not really.
Yeah, but it's crazy. I mean, I know it's like was it 23rd, 24th? We're into the month of January, but it's crazy kind of reflecting on last year, because I did this last year. I helped my friend out because they've been going to Guatemala, I think, for now like 10, 11 years or so. And last year, like I helped serve wine, I helped promote the art, and I was thinking about, because I mean it's tomorrow that I'm going to be doing this. I was thinking about like that's something that's coming. It's coming, and like it's like I'm gonna have to do that. So I've been thinking about like how I'm gonna hype up the art and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know much about art. It'd kind of be hard for me to hype up art.
Yeah, and so, but I was like, man, I feel so much more like equipped to do this. And I was like, why do I feel like that, like this year as opposed to last year? Because I was pretty buns. And honestly, I think that a big reason is like starting this podcast and like just being able to articulate myself more and more, like on the fly. Like and I even noticed that, to go even further, I noticed that in like conversations I have just every day. Like I'm like, man, I convey my message so much better. And I think a big part of it is, not the only part, but a big part of it is starting this podcast and just having to articulate ideas.
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of the same way in a little different way. I catch myself talking to people more because before the podcast, I didn't really go out of my way to speak to someone if I didn't know them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For example, I would talk to my family, I'd talk to my close friends, my relatives and things like that, but I wouldn't go out of my way to speak to someone that I really hadn't had any interaction with before. But I kind of find myself doing that more now, which is a good thing. It's never a bad thing to interact with people that you really haven't before, learn something, get to know them a little bit. So,
well, experience, man. Experience is the only thing that you actually have. So go out and experience things. That's kind of where I was going with this. Like, we just wanted to start a podcast. We wanted to do that, so we did it. We experienced it, and like we've grown from it. So like, do things that you want to do. Go experience.
Yeah,
it.
so go experience the art show Gary's talking about.
Yeah,
and go buy yourself a piece
go
of
come
art.
buy some art. Experience this art.
Experience this art.
No, but I was gonna say something kind of about the whole like serving wine. What do you think about Arkansas's legal views on alcohol? Talking about like having like dry and wet counties and things of that nature. Because you may not know this if you haven't went outside Arkansas, but like dry and wet counties aren't really a thing outside of Arkansas too much.
Are there not anywhere else?
I mean, I don't know about anywhere, but like most of the big, like Florida, Alabama, Georgia, like South Carolina. I don't know about more northeast.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that dry and wet counties aren't really a commonality.
Yeah. I don't know, to be completely honest. I don't know. That's kind of I would have to look at some statistics to know.
Yeah.
What the.
Yeah, we're pretty intuitive on this. So like aside from like statistics and everything, like what do you think about it?
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad law or a bad practice. I think that, I mean, it is a democracy, so I think the people should be able to choose whether, they would want. And by dry and wet counties, we mean a county that can sell
liquor,
not necessarily a restaurant, but like an actual store, like a distributor, I guess would be the technical term for it. So, man, I really don't know. I've honestly never thought about it, to be completely honest with you. It would bring in a lot of revenue. That's for sure.
My thing is like, because I had to write a paper over this, like my first semester of college for Mr. Graham.
Mr. Graham.
Cats are self-sufficient.
Self-sufficiency.
Me and Will had this dude named Mr. Graham. He was such a hippie, but he was a good composition teacher. I think he got fired though.
Yeah, I think he did.
Soon after for some type of conspicuous act that he'd pulled. Anyways, my thing with dry and wet counties is that like people. So let's take Faulkner County for example, which is a dry county, and then take Pulaski County, which is a wet county.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people, as we know, to an extent, in Conway that go to Little Rock or Maumelle or whatever to get their liquor anyways. Like a lot of people. And it's like
everyone that wants some.
Yeah, and all of the revenue goes to Pulaski County or Maumelle or whatever. It doesn't stay within the community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you? And like I said, I don't know anything about this. Please reach out to us if you have the answers.
Yeah.
But I don't understand the benefit of having it dry if people are still going to go drink.
Yeah, and that's the thing I was saying. I don't know the statistics. Like, are there more, like driving related accidents that have to do with drinking in those counties as opposed to a dry county, or is there more? I don't even know any crimes that would be related to underage drinking in wet counties and in dry counties. I don't know. I'd have to go look and see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't really make a case for either one. I could see, I wouldn't say it'd be a terrible thing, but I wouldn't say it'd be a great thing either, because I don't really know what the actual, percentage of those statistics would be. But I do see what you're saying with keeping the money inside the community, and if people are going to do it anyways, then
Why not?
why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Well, you could think about it this way too. If somebody, they have to drive to go get it, right, from in another county.
Right.
So there's a possibility that, they could be hurt, driving on the interstate too. There's just so many factors that go into it. But, I don't know why they haven't yet, to be honest. I don't know why. I think it's just, no, I really don't know, to be honest with you. That's kind of I don't know. That's like a taboo subject for some people. They don't even want to talk about it, but I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't understand why they don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see why that Faulkner County isn't a wet county. I mean, we have all these restaurants with liquor licenses and like they sell liquor anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, why even make it to where they have to go around and give them the old rigmarole just to get a liquor license? Like, let's just make it a wet county.
Yeah.
And
I think you'd have to get a license though, or maybe not. I have no idea. I don't know. I've honestly never thought about that. They keep trying to like have a bill for people to vote on it, but it never gets voted in. I don't know that for sure, but
I mean, I'm sure it has. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a very political dude.
I'm not either. But no,
me and Will, we talk politics, but we don't we don't really know,
We don't know much
anything about it. That's why we have this podcast. Y'all reach out to us, let us know.
Yeah, give us some details about it.
We definitely would like to hear your opinion
give us some
as well.
pros and cons for and against, so I can make an educated decision.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's interesting take.
No, I'm gonna kind of make a little bit of a segue here. So I want to talk about meditation, and before I do that, I want to talk about attention. So, what is attention? Attention is energy that you focus on something in your mind. So you can think of attention kind of like a muscle. So, for example, a muscle is going to help support the base system, which is your skeletal system, helps support and helps it function or whatever. Whereas attention helps you support and optimally experience being itself, like experience you. So let's think about it this way. With a muscle, there are naturally imbalances that can occur. So a muscle, if you overtrain it with resistance training, it becomes too rigid, too tight. Whereas if you overtrain with like flexibility training and like stretching, you become like way too loose. So how does this relate to attention? Well, if you are very loose with your attention, the energy that you focus, the things that you choose to give your attention to, you start giving your attention to things that don't need your attention. You become very self-conscious. You begin to worry about, for example, how many likes you have on Instagram or what other people think about a decision that you made or whatever. You start dispersing your attention and not being able to focus. And on the other end, just like the muscle that's too tight from overtraining with resistance, if your attention becomes too narrow, too rigid, too focused, you become narcissistic, basically. Like you don't see any value in anything that doesn't serve the self, you, that doesn't better you. Which, yeah, that's good. There's a balance there, but happiness. This is a very important distinction to make. Happiness does not occur in your mind alone. You can sit there all day and conceptualize and theorize happiness and what it is and how to obtain it. But the answer that you will come to every time is that happiness comes from outside the mind. It comes from experience with others. And if you are too rigid, too narrow, you don't realize that, and you won't be happy. So it's a balance. Coming back to attention, it is a balance of focusing your attention, but also realizing that your attention is outside of yourself as well. Now, how does that relate to meditation? I'll tell you. So in today's world especially, it is very, very hard to just sit back and take things in, because we have things like cell phones, computers, TV screens, we've got Skype interviews, we've got business meetings, we've got all of these things that are pulling our attention away. And most of the time, so people, that if it was pulling your attention away and it's dispersing, you become very self-conscious or whatever, and people start to realize that, people start getting into self-help, and they start narrowing that attention. They realize that when they focus their attention on things that help them grow, their attention becomes a lot more narrow. And so you can see how it kind of goes back and forth with just the evolution of you. But when meditation comes in, I mean, you literally sit down, it's like going back to the muscle analogy. Meditation is like the exercise for attention. You sit down, and meditation is such a tainted word by some. Like meditation, mindfulness, awareness, whatever you want to call it, sitting down and just being still. You can sit on your back porch for 10 minutes and just be quiet and just take in what's going on outside. Meditation is being in the moment and having control of your attention, because there are so many things, and it's, you don't think about this until you break it down like this. But when you are in control of your attention, your ability to experience life and obtain happiness is so much easier. And it's instead of the entropy of the mind, you have a harmonious existence and experience.
Dang, son. Go off on him a second, Gary. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, that was, you were rolling. I wasn't saying nothing. I was going to let you keep going, maybe. But, dude, what you're saying, though, I'll ask you a question. That's like a little interview session.
Okay.
So, you were saying, can you meditate on things? Well, I guess that's my question. You were saying, like, go outside and just sit there and relax. Just let everything come to you, take everything in. Can you meditate on specific things, like individual things? So say I want to meditate on my relationships with other people. Like I want to meditate on me in situations where I can be more loving and more caring for other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is there certain things you can meditate on?
And you've told me that you've experienced this with meditations that you've done. It's like you can focus your meditation on specific things to help you increase your focus. You need to realize what side of that imbalance you're on. Are you too self-conscious, or are you like borderline narcissistic? So you can do either, but I would think of one, like, for example, if you're too self-conscious, try focusing on something. Try focusing on like self-acceptance, or like who you are. Like ask yourself that. Sit there, ask yourself that. Like, who am I? Like, what am I? What am I here on this earth for? And you'll begin to figure out yourself a lot more. And without just that 10 minutes or so of just mindfulness and awareness, it's really hard to appreciate things if you don't sit back and just step back and appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
And you can't do that if you're going all the time. So I know I kind of got off there. To answer your question, yeah, you can meditate on specific things, or you can just try and just be in the moment as present as you can, just eliminate your thoughts. Like it's really just being. Like if you are appreciating the moment for what it is, that's being aware. That's being mindful. That is a meditation.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And also I want to kind of not add on, but just keep going on this thought. There's like a weird stigma about meditation where whenever you say that, people think that you're talking about like some Buddhist monk sitting in a temple with his legs crossed and sitting there for hours and hours and hours on end with candles burning and, you know, just sitting there meditating. But you can meditate. This is what I do. Like, it's good it's still good to do what Gary said, go be still, don't have any other distractions. But like when I'm at work and I'm just doing a task that's not a mundane task, but something that doesn't require my full attention, I can just sit there and meditate in my mind about different things that I'm thinking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to sit there with your legs crossed for 3 hours and meditate. I mean, it can be 10, 20 minutes of you just consciously thinking about something or a situation or a person that, you know, is in your mind. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
I mean, and you think about it, and people think of meditation as sitting like this cross-legged pranayama home.
Yeah.
Like they think of that. But when you sit and you're still for some time, it doesn't have to be in a dark room or anything. You sit on the couch, you can sit in your recliner or whatever. You'll begin to notice that like the present moment is like all there is, and that's all that is really worth most of your attention. And from that, like everything begins to slow down. Like everything that you do, you become aware of, and like within that, you become happier. Like for example, when I play the guitar, like I enjoy that so much. I'm so in that moment. Like it just totally engrosses my mind because I'm all there. Like every bit of my attention is in that, in which I'm doing, playing the guitar.
Yeah.
Preparing a meal, like you can think of anything, any experience, and how you apply your attention to it is going to I don't know, make life a meditation in itself, and you just become, I don't know, aware and appreciative of everything.
Yeah. Well, some people shy away from meditation due to the fact that when you are meditating on, well, I'll just use an example. So like myself, if I'm meditating on how to love my friends and family more, then once I start meditating on that and I say, okay, well, I'll just take you through my head. I did this the other day. It was wild.
Okay.
I just got to thinking about, you know, what is, well, I asked the question, what is love? And then I said, how would I display my love to my friends and family and my wife, you know, things like that. So I said I would put them before myself. I would do things for them. I would uplift them. You know, I'd be truthful when I needed to, even if that was, you know, giving them some harsh advice or whatever. And, you know, I would just be selfless. So then I started thinking about, well, am I doing that? You know, you think about the list of what the requirements are. And then once you actually sit back and reflect on if you're actually doing those, I was like, man, I might not be doing that. You know what I mean? I might not be displaying all the practicing all the characteristics I just named. And it makes you, it changes your mindset
gives you a better understanding of you, like objectively, like who you are.
Yeah. And sometimes you figure out that you're not as good as you thought you were. You know, you're not doing things to the best of your ability. You're not, in my case, loving like you should. You know, you might be a little selfish, which, you know, people don't want to realize sometimes because it's hard. It's hard to come to the conclusion that, you know, something isn't not necessarily wrong with you, but you could be better. Does that make sense?
You're not meeting your standards.
Yeah.
Or you're not making your standards high enough.
Yeah. And that's hard for people, and myself especially. Like I said, I mean, it was rough. Like, it just kind of smote my spirit, I guess, that I wasn't being, you know, the kind of person that I should be. You know, I could be a better person, and so, I mean, you have to come to that conclusion that when you do meditate, some things will be revealed that maybe you hadn't thought about before, or maybe you haven't, addressed in a while. So
Yeah, but that's the thing.
that's the beauty of it, though, because you'll grow from your experience.
You will. It'll be a little uncomfortable, but we've talked about it before. Discomfort is a catalyst to growth. And if you're going to become the best and strongest version of yourself, you're going to have to confront a few of your demons that you may not even realize are there, like Will said, until you kind of think about it, speculate on it.
Yeah, for sure.
So the main thing I want you to take out of this, I highly encourage you to go and do some form of meditation, but do not put the stigma of sitting cross-legged, like it's not that. It's just being aware of your existence.
I'm down with that. And you don't have to, it's good to get alone and in a very quiet and still place with no distractions to meditate and think about things. But you can meditate on anything, anytime. You don't have to be alone in a room, dimly lit room with candles lit and everything like that. That's not how it goes. So, and you can meditate on all kind of things, like I don't know. You can meditate on.
We were talking about one episode, like pride. Pride is a very deep topic.
Yeah.
You can meditate on pride.
I know what I was going to say. You can meditate on things that you've heard or read. You can meditate on a book you read. If you're spiritual, you can meditate on scriptures. You can meditate on a song you heard, how it made you feel. You can meditate on a TV show you watched, how that, experience kind of made you adjust your thinking a little. You don't have to meditate just necessarily on yourself, although that is wise to do. You can meditate on other things as well. Yeah,
for sure. I went through a time where I would read like a proverb of scripture from the Bible, just a proverb, very kind of cryptic thing, and just meditate on it.
Yeah. So I guess what we're trying to say is give it a try. Go meditate. Meditate on something. If you've never done it before, just take 5 minutes. That won't take hardly any time at all. Just take 5 minutes and meditate on yourself, your feelings, your thoughts, something that you saw you thought was cool, your family, your friends.
Just bring that awareness to whatever it is that you want to meditate on.
I'm down with that. I can get down with that.
I've been wanting to talk about that for a while, and I just now became well versed enough to where I was comfortable to kind of explain what meditation is without making it seem like this woo woo thing.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that too, because like I said, I had that experience the other day, and that was just on the forefront of my mind all day. I just couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was cool though. It was a good time. I learned and grew. So that's all we're asking for, baby.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, what did I have to talk about? Oh, I was talking about meditating on music and books and art and stuff like that. I went down a deep rabbit hole the other day on I get on these YouTube kicks. Well, I watch YouTube all the time, but I'll get like a recommended video and I'll watch 50 videos on the subject or niche that I watch the video on to start with. And I got down the electronic music and like producers of making music, not necessarily a band or a producer mixing live music. I'm talking about music made from electronic instruments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was crazy to me that most of these producers that you hear, like electronic dance music or hip hop producers that, make beats, I guess you'd say, most of them have had like extensive musical training with instruments and music theory. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So whenever there's kind of a stigma with, electronic music that doesn't take any talent to make. That doesn't take...
Baby, we're breaking stigmas today.
That doesn't take any skill. Like people that make beats, they're just making music on a computer. They're not really doing anything. Well, like the chords and the notes and all the whole song is still comprised of musical elements. Like they take instruments, but they make the song instead of playing it. So they don't necessarily have the skill to say play a piano, but they have the theory and the knowledge to create it electronically.
It's just like writing music as opposed to playing music.
Yeah, so like they're writing it, but then they're playing it not necessarily with their hands, but with the computer.
Yeah, and the thing is, some people mistake that just because you can do one, you can do the other. I can't write music. I can't read music. I can play music. In the same regard that producer, he may be able to do both, but he may only be able to write the music and not actually play it. Because if I sat down at one of those mixing studios and had the FL Studio or whatever in front of me, I could not run it. It would take me forever. So just because it's a different skill, don't think it's like less.
Yeah, and that's basically what I was trying to get at is there's different ways to accomplish the goal. So the goal for a band is to put out a song or a track or an album that they think sounds good and that people want to listen to. Just as the same way a music producer or somebody wants to make a track or a beat that they think sounds good too. So there's two different ways to get there. It's like if you're going to the store, say I'm going to Conway, I can go the old highway or I can go the new highway, Highway 65, which is, there's two different routes to get to the end goal. So just because you do something one way and somebody else does something another way, it's not right or wrong. It's just two different ways to get to the same end goal. Yeah. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. You can go your own way.
Yeah. So I just thought that was really cool. And like, I tried to make some electronic music on my computer, and dude, it was so hard. Not necessarily, I mean, it was unbelievably hard.
No, dude, you showed me one though, and it was really good.
Yeah, but I took it from it was already a song. I didn't create the song.
Thief.
I know.
No, dude.
Can't make any cash off of it.
There was, I forget how the exact quote, but basically, there's this musician I really like, and he said all art is just stolen from like previous art.
Yeah, that's true.
Like everything especially music, like in lyrics, or like, because there's only 12 notes in a scale. I mean, you can keep going up, but it's just octaves after that. You have 12 notes to work with, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's going to be
all the music ever created was made from that.
Was made from 12 notes put together in different ways.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of possibilities with that. But I don't know, there's going to be repetition amongst it. So,
yeah. So basically what I was getting at is there's two ways to skin a cat, two roads to travel to get to the end goal. So don't just cut yourself short and think there's only one way to do things. Basically is all I'm saying. Which leads me to, I wanted to talk to you about this, Gary. I was reading my speech book for class because I had to do a quiz. And
Mr. Herman, woo.
Mr. Herman, yeah.
I listened to our last podcast that we put out, and it sounded really harsh when I said I didn't like him.
Yeah, it did.
So I'm sorry, really Mr. Herman, and I still don't really like you, but
dude, you got to just give him another chance.
Yeah, but that
You're never
sounded
gonna see him
harsh
again, though.
That sounded a little harsh. So,
yeah. But
sorry.
It's okay, Gary. I want to talk about this, which I thought this was really interesting. My speech book is The Basics of Communication Studies, and it talks about, I'm only in chapter 2, but it talks about hearing and listening and having an open mind when someone is speaking or you're receiving something for the first time.
Yeah.
And we're breaking stigmas today. I'm kind of fired up.
Do it, man.
This is another stigma that where if you tell someone or someone says they have an open mind, then people automatically assume, oh, well, they're a wacko. They're crazy. They'll believe anything. They'll take any idea and run with it. They'll they'll just believe anything crazy that comes along. They don't even think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this book has a quote in here. It says it's from Anonymous. But the quote says, "Your mind is like a parachute. It works best when it's open." And I want to talk about that for a second. Is when you have an open mind about things, you have an open mind about an idea or about something you saw or something somebody told you that maybe you've never heard before. It's not a bad thing to be open-minded. You can still have an opinion even with an open mind. People think automatically when you say have an open mind that you're just way out there, you'll believe anything, you're crazy, you're a wacko, you're a hippie. Like, keep an open mind, man.
Just because you entertain the idea doesn't mean you believe the idea.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying is just because you say or someone says keep an open mind or you have an open mind doesn't mean that you believe anything that you're told. It just means I'll entertain the idea. I'll go look at it, break it down, see if I do believe it. But if I don't, then, I don't believe it. It's not that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's people fall into that trap a lot is whenever they're presented with an idea that counteracts what they believe or something that they've been taught or heard, they automatically soul up and they don't even
shut it down.
They shut it down. But I was also thinking about this. It's good for your own belief to consider another one because then you truly find out if deep down you actually believe what you've been saying this whole time. So say I believe topic A and someone else comes along with topic B, but my whole life I've thought that topic A was completely and 100% right. But they come along and give me a different idea with topic B, and it pricks my mind a little bit, and I consider it. It just drives home that I actually do believe topic A. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, definitely. It's like if you have a thought, think of a thought or an idea, good or bad, doesn't matter. But think of it as like electrical energy that comes into contact with your mind, a wire that can conduct electrical energy. So that idea, that electrical piece of energy comes into contact with the wire of your mind. You conduct that idea, you entertain it, you let it come in, and you determine whether or not you want to hold on to it. And if you don't want to hold on to it, if you don't believe it, then conduct it, let it go, let it pass through. But don't wall up and try and stop a natural process from occurring, which is not letting thoughts come through your mind.
Yeah. So basically all I was trying to get at is you can entertain other ideas even if you don't, take them to be your own ideologies, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can like Gary said, you can let the electric current pass through your brain, register, process it. You don't want it, spit it back out.
Yeah.
So, anyway, sorry, I got off on a little tangent there.
No, you're good. You're good. So, we were talking before the podcast got going, and you said that somebody got kicked off of a plane.
Oh, dude.
Tell that story, dude.
Well, this is so funny to me for some reason. We'll lighten up the mood a little bit.
Yeah, we're
not
completely through with expanding everyone's consciousness, but we're gonna take a break for a second.
We're gonna take a break. We got deep into that for a second. So I was just looking at. I got on the internet, Google Chrome or something, and I was looking at news stories, and this one popped up, and it said that a man was kicked off of a plane. Like, he got on the plane, was kicked off before the plane took off because his body odor was so bad. Dude.
Wow.
How stinky do you have to be to get kicked off
the thing
a
is,
plane?
Man, like, people can be like, oh, what if he didn't have the resources to take a shower or a bath? Well, he had the resources to get a plane ticket. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and the article said that the guy told him he had taken a shower like, earlier that day or the night before, but they said he stunk so bad.
Bro, he pooped his pants.
Dude.
He had to have pooped his pants.
Oh, a Fox affiliate. Somebody told a Fox affiliate his wife and their daughter followed the cruise instructions and got off the plane. Wait. Hang on. Where's the top? Oh, this is what the staff said to him. He said, they said there were people on the plane complaining that you have BO. Our crew members smelled it and our pilot smelled it, and the pilot says we can't let you fly in this plane because the BO is too bad. The pilot says you can't fly on this plane because your BO is too bad.
Man,
dude, that
cut
is
me down.
Righteous.
That dude hey, speaking of attention, that dude needs to focus some attention on his hygiene.
They're going around holding their noses. It smells, he told the news station. And those were the managers. They were like, okay, so the managers of the airline or whatever had to escort them off the plane. And when they were walking out, they were like holding their noses, acting like they smelled so foul that they couldn't even smell them at all.
Wow, what an insult.
Like, that is so insulting. It says,
oh my God.
It says they paid for them to stay in a hotel.
Yeah, we had a layover one time in Dallas, and we didn't get to fly when we were supposed to, and they let us stay overnight in, like, the airport hotel. It was nice, too, dude.
Yeah, but this wasn't a layover. They got kicked off.
Yeah.
I thought that was so crazy, though.
Yeah. Well, that kind of reminds me.
And it said they rebooked him on another flight? Like,
do you remember that? One dude that got kicked off? He was going to get kicked off the plane because they didn't have enough seats or something like that. But he had paid for his ticket.
Yeah.
And like he would not leave, and they like physically tried to remove him from the plane.
And he went limp noodle. And he went,
yeah, dude, that was insane.
Dude, I saw one where they have I guess they're service animals, but they're like therapy animals. And this person had a pig on the plane, said it was their therapy animal, and they were trying to like kick him off the plane because they're like, you cannot take a pig on a plane. But or whoever it was, they were like, it's my therapy animal, it's my therapy animal. And they just made a huge deal about it. A pig, dude, not like a small pig, like
it's my therapy animal,
a pot-bellied pig on a plane. Dude, just think about if you're going on vacation, you and the family walk on the plane, you get in your seat, and a lady sits down beside you, just plops a pig right down beside you.
Bro, you'd have to buy literally a plane ticket for the pig. Like the pig would have to have its own seat bought and paid for.
The flight attendant comes around and is like, sir, would you like a drink? It's just a pig.
It's just a pig. Oh my God.
Oh, I thought that was so funny though. Anyway, BO on the plane. I thought that was hilarious.
No, man. So, do you have anything else?
No, dude. I think I've exhausted my list of all I had.
Yeah. I've been reading a lot of books. I've been reading a lot of books on the whole attention thing that I kind of presented, and that was a hefty majority of my preparation for the podcast, was trying to think of a way I wanted to present that.
Yeah.
And so to kind of, because that was my main point, but to kind of bring that home, like, experience is the only thing that you have, so why not optimize it? Like, why not create a life that you perceive as just profoundly interesting to you in your own way?
Yeah.
And one of the keys to doing that is mastering the control of your attention.
Yeah.
So,
and do things that you like. You don't have to do things other people like, just to fit in or appease somebody.
Exactly.
Do things that you like. Do things that you enjoy. You. Not somebody else. You.
No, that's about all I got.
Dude, that's about all I got.
You can find me on Instagram at GaryTheGreat96 and on Snapchat at Gary, Gairy.
And you can find me on Instagram at Will_Pennington00 and on Twitter at TheScavenger23. You can find the podcast at Casual Conversation Podcast on Instagram. That's at Casual Conversation Podcast. And you can follow us on YouTube, subscribe, leave us some comments. And our YouTube channel is Casual Conversation Podcast, if you couldn't guess. Coming up in the future, we're going to have some more guests for sure. Our last episode, we did have a guest. Our buddy Paxton came on. We got the only thing we got to do is just schedule a time for people to come on. I mean, we got people ready to roll. So
yeah, I've got not like a set date for AJ Cannon to come on, but when he releases the album that he's in a band called Drasco, when they release their upcoming album, we're gonna get him on here and maybe listen or not listen to him, but get some stories on some of the songs, the production of the songs, the band. Get him to promote his podcast, promote his album, and everything. I would think that bringing on Josh Payne here sometime soon would be pretty cool, man. I haven't seen Josh in forever.
Yeah, for sure.
And if Josh, you're listening to this, I don't know when you're gonna invite me over for them steaks. I'll bring the steaks, man. I just want to see your house.
Yeah, but like we said, be on the lookout for that. We're cranking out an episode every week, so just keep looking out for us. Got any feedback? Give it to us, baby.
Give it to us.
Positive or negative. We take all feedback and process it in our brains. If we don't like it, we spit.
We choose whether or not to give it attention.
Yeah. We choose whether or not to give it attention. So, with that being said, though,
Gary out.
Later.